99% of companies have no idea what they're doing when it comes to influencer marketing. They treat it like a lottery ticket. Find a creator, pay them a few $1,000s, and they can't tell if it made any sales at all. So they go back to meta ads and other methods that are easy to track. But it doesn't have to be this way. I used to run product for Beyonce and built a company backed by Snapchat that grew entirely through creator partnerships. And the way most companies do influencer marketing right now is completely outdated. The companies that figure this out are making creator partnerships their best growth channel. It actually drives sales, keeps getting better over time, and it builds a kind of trust that you'll never get from paid ads alone. So in this video, I'm breaking down what actually changed, why the old approach stopped working, and how the best growth teams are thinking about this differently. You never tried influencer marketing, you tried it and it didn't work out. This is the video I wish existed years ago. So if you're a founder or a head of growth, you've probably heard the same advice I heard. Focus on paid ads. The influencer stuff is nice to have. That advice made sense in 2020, but it's outdated now. Creator content is the dominant format. It's video on TikTok and YouTube. It's text on LinkedIn and X. Your customers are consuming creator content every single day of the week. And it's not just social anymore. AI search pulls from video content. YouTube is the top referrer to ChatGPT, Perplexity, and basically all of the leading models. So even if you want to show up in AI search, you should actually show up in video first. The old reliable channels are getting way more difficult. Paid ads are getting more expensive over time, not cheaper. You find your best customers first, and then your acquisition costs start to rise. There's literally a graveyard of companies who thought, oh, we'll just buy ads and grow profitably. You've probably seen the UGC playbook too. Companies like Clearly and TurboLearn scaling with hundreds of zero-follower creators. That works great, especially for consumer apps. But for B2B and prosumer, influencer marketing still hits different. The common pushback is it doesn't work for B2B because of brand concerns or longer timelines, but that's exactly where the opportunity is. Most B2B companies are not even trying. Trust is the real shift. People scroll past ads and are naturally skeptical. But when a creator recommends something, people actually listen. This is what's working right now. Here's some real examples of this working at scale. Suno announced they hit over 300 million in annual recurring revenue with a creator-driven strategy. Gamma hit over 100 million in annual recurring revenue with over 1,000 micro-influencers that the founder personally onboarded. You're not buying attention by doing this. You're buying trust. So if influencer marketing is so powerful, why do most companies fail at it? It's because they're following a strategy that stopped working years ago. So here's what's not working anymore. Problem one, pre-built databases. Every platform brags, oh, we have 100 million creators in our database, but this doesn't actually matter if they haven't gone super deep on your specific niche. Very often, the best creators aren't even in a database because they don't need to be. What you often find is mid-tier creators who are hunting for work. And probably most importantly, the data decays fast. Who was hot last year is not necessarily who's hot right now, so you can't rely on databases. What about outreach? Problem two, cold outreach that goes nowhere. Instagram DMs have scale restrictions. TikTok DMs barely work for business. Spray and pray outreach has terrible response rates. You have no system for tracking conversations, you're destined to fail. Let's say you find some creators and actually get responses. Now what? Problem three, flat fee guessing. Let's say a creator quotes you $3,000. You have no idea if that's good or if that's terrible. You have no market context, so you just pay it. Creators expect negotiation. It's part of the game. Companies who negotiate typically save 40 to 50% from the quoted rate. And even if you figure out pricing, most people are picking creators wrong in the first place. Problem four, the follower count trap. So what most people do is sort from most followers to least followers and start working their way down the list. And this is a huge mistake. Follower count means almost nothing now, especially on TikTok. And what actually matters is recent video performance. So a creator with 50,000 followers and 200,000 average views is always going to beat a creator with 500,000 followers and 30K average views. What you need to do is look at recent video performance. Look at the last 15 to 30 videos to see how they perform to start to get a real signal. But this isn't actually the thing that actually kills most programs. Problem five, zero attribution. You know how it goes. The typical story is pay a creator, they post, you have no idea if it worked. There's no tracking links, no UTM parameters. You can't identify winners, which means you can't double down on winners. You're flying completely blind. Add all this up and you get the typical experience. You tried influencer marketing, paid a couple creators, you couldn't really tell if it worked and concluded the channel isn't for you. But it actually works if you understand this next part. So stop thinking about influencer marketing as campaigns and start thinking about it as a system. Let's look at the old mindset versus the new mindset. So the old mindset says, let's do an influencer campaign, pick creators, hope it works, move on. The new mindset says, let's build a creator channel. Let's test, let's find winners, let's double down, and let's repeat. This is a hits-driven business. You cannot predict in advance which creator is going to break through. You need volume at the top of the funnel to find signal at the bottom. So what does this actually look like step by step? Step 1, reverse engineer the platforms. Go direct to YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, LinkedIn. These recommendation algorithms will tell you who's winning right now, not 2 years ago. You need to feed the algorithm what you want and it'll show you who's hot. Yes, this is harder than buying a pre-built list, but this is exactly why it works. Now, once you know who the right creators are, step 2, create your own market. Email at least 1,000 creators in your niche and collect their rates, the performance data, and how responsive they are. Now you have pricing signals across hundreds of creators. You know what good actually looks like in this category before you spend anything. Now you have all the data you need to make decisions. But how do you actually decide? Step 3, pick talent with both data and taste. So you want to look at a few things. You want to look at CPM, which is cost per 1,000 views based on recent video performance. You want to look at outlier rate. How often do they spike with a hit? You want to look at trajectory. Are they growing or are they declining? And you need to make sure you vibe check. Watch the actual content. Do you like the content? Does it resonate with you? Do you want this person representing your brand? This is the part that AI can't do for you. Picking the right talent based on taste and data and building relationships with that talent is still a human job. This is where you really need to dig in, bring together all your data points, and make a decision of the creators you think are right to work with your brand. But here's where most people go wrong. Step 4. Test with volume. Start with 10 to 20 creators minimum, not 2 or 3. Most of them won't hit, and that's expected. This is a hits-driven business, so you're hunting for the 1 or 2 creators that you can build on as the foundation. Once you found your winners, now you can start to think about scale. Step 5. Double down on winners. So you found a creator that drove results. It's time to lock them into a longer-term deal. You want to turn one-off posts into an ongoing relationship. You also want to take the best content and boost it with paid spend. Authentic creator content as ads is crushing it right now. Also, if you don't lock in the winning creators in your category, you can bet that your competitors will. Exclusive deals with top creators are a real moat, and I've seen it happen a million times. Step 6, repeat. This is an iterative process, so you need to apply your learnings from your first cohort of creators to your second and to your third. Your hit rate should improve over time as you learn what works. This is how this becomes a compounding channel. This is how this becomes a flywheel. You need to test, find winners, amplify, and repeat. The companies that are doing this are building something their competitors cannot easily copy. This requires different skills than it did even 3 years ago. So if you're trying to do this right, here's what actually matters in 2026. Skill number 1, platform intelligence. You need to understand how the algorithm of each platform works. YouTube is wildly different from TikTok, which is wildly different from Instagram, which is wildly different from LinkedIn, so on and so forth. But once you understand how these algorithms work, you can start to extract signals to understand which creators are winning right now, which formats are winning right now. The formats that are working change daily, weekly, monthly. And so it's very important you're able to get real-time or near real-time information to make good decisions. But knowing the platforms is just a start. The real block for most teams is skill number 2, operations management. This is what kills most creator programs, not strategy, operations. Email chains, contracts, payments, invoices, follow-ups, tax compliance, you name it. Multiply that by even 50 creators and your marketing team is drowning in admin work. You need a dedicated system or this starts to fall apart immediately. Once you have ops figured out, the next unlock is pricing. Skill 3, negotiation at scale. If you're having hundreds of creator conversations, you're not desperate to work with any single creator. You have real data on what others in the category are charging, and you can walk away from overpriced deals because you have options. You've got the creators, now you've got the price. Now for the content itself. Skill 4, create a strategy that doesn't feel like an ad. The moment a video or a piece of content triggers the "this is sponsored" feeling, people are going to start scrolling. You want to be product focused without being product obsessed. You want viewers thinking like, hey, this looks interesting, not they got paid to talk about this. So you need to pick creators who actually like what you're selling. There needs to be a natural organic fit. And finally, you need to know if any of this is actually working. Skill 5, attribution and measurement. You want to use custom branded tracking links with UTM parameters for every creator you work with. Make sure that's connected to your analytics stack. You need to understand going in that a lot of value is not going to be directly trackable. It's super common for somebody to see a couple different creator videos from your brand, not click any links, and then Google you 3 weeks later and convert. Happens all the time. Companies who close this loop can scale their spend confidently. So this is what it takes: platform knowledge, ops, negotiation, creative, and attribution. Look, most companies aren't going to build this. The ops are complicated, testing even 20 creators feels risky, and it's way easier just to keep running meta ads. But the companies that do are getting something their competitors cannot copy. They're building real trust with customers. They're building distribution that actually compounds. And they're building a channel that gets cheaper over time instead of more expensive. The difference comes down to execution, finding the right creators for your specific niche, building systems that don't fall apart at scale, and actually tracking what's driving sales. So if you want to see exactly how we find creators, negotiate rates, and track attribution for our clients, I'll put a link in the description.